All right, boys and girls, we are going to introduce a new station today, and this is our tree map station. And the cool thing about this station is you get to actually be a scientist. And what we're going to study first are bugs. I've got lots of bugs here. Oh, yeah. And if you're scared to touch them, we've got a little pincher here for you to touch. And look at that bug. And it's got a little magnifying glass to look up close and personal. Oh! So anyways, what you're going to do is you're going to pick a card out. And when you pick that card out, ooh, I found a beetle. I'm going to try to find the beetle in here. Where's the beetle? Where's the beetle? Now that's a type of beetle, but I'm gonna try to find a beetle that I picked the card out.
You just passed it a beetle.
You know what? I'm gonna pick another one.
It's right
Okay,
there.
I couldn't find it.
It's right there. It's right there.
This one?
Yeah.
That is a beetle. It might be a cockroach though. No, actually it looks like a beetle. It's got a triangle, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So here's a beetle, and I have a beetle card. Can anybody guess what that word says?
Beetle.
It says beetle. Very good. Okay, so you're already figuring this out.
I told you I know where it's
Now, this says beetle. I'm going to zoom in a little bit closer. Actually, I'm going to just do this. Now, if you look up at the top, it says, I usually have 2 sets of wings and a hard shell covering. At the top of the card, it will give you a little bit of a fact or two about that bug, okay? Here's another cool thing. When we talk about bugs, some bugs have 8 legs, some bugs have 6 legs. Bugs that have 6 legs are called insects. Bugs that have 8 legs are called arachnids. That'd be like this spider right here. Okay, so anyways, I got my beetle. I found my beetle. I'm going to go ahead and clean up the rest of my bugs because now it's time for me to write. So I'm going to take my this is an empty Lego box that I'm going to use to keep all my bugs in. I'm going to swipe them in here so that everything's nice and clean. What in the world is that alligator doing in here? That's not a bug. I shouldn't have done that. I'm going to put the cards back in here so that I know everything's nice and clean and organized. And then I'm going to put the lid back on.
You forgot one bug.
Now, I'm going to tear a piece of paper out of my folder. This is just my folder that I keep all of my tree maps in to keep them organized. Come over here, tear it out. And now I am ready to write. All right, now we picked our bug out, which is the beetle. So now it's time for us to complete our exit ticket, our tree map. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to find something to write with. I'm going to write my name at the top because that's the most important thing you could ever do. And today's topic is the beetle. Now, here's something tricky. I'm going to write beetle, B-E-E-T-L-E. Now, when you get down to the writing part, it's going to say a beetle can, a beetle have. Wait a minute. A beetle have. Does that make sense? What would I say instead of beetle?
Beetle.
Beetles with an S. So actually, there we go. Beetles have. Beetles are. So now what we're going to do is this is a chance for us to brainstorm and think about beetles can. What can beetles do? Put your finger on your head and think about a thing that beetles can do. And when you're done, put your hands together in your lap like this. And what can beetles do? I see Zoe has her hands in her lap. What can beetles do?
They can roll big balls.
They can roll big balls. Ooh, there's something called a dung beetle, and it rolls balls of poop.
I know that.
Around, yeah.
It's
Is that what you're
like a
talking about? Yeah, those things are pretty cool. You know what?
It's like
hey, we don't know what kind of beetle this is, so I'm going to say roll big balls of poop. Hey, beetles can roll balls of poop. And remember, that's called a dung beetle. What's it called?
A dung beetle.
A dung beetle. Now, not every beetle does that, but a dung beetle does. Now, think about this next thing. Put your finger on your head. Beetles have. What do beetles have? When you are ready, when you think you have an idea, put your hands together like this so that you're not shouting out, so that everybody gets a chance to think for themselves. Put your hands together. And I'm looking for somebody. Crispin, what do beetles have?
They have like the things that hang out so they can like get from no trouble, like these sting things.
You talking about these?
No, like the sting part, so they don't get that, so they won't get like shelter.
Back here?
Yes, so like nobody won't like try to sneak up on them.
Well, these are legs. Are you talking about legs or are you talking about a shell?
The shell.
Oh, the shell. Thank you so much. Faraway high five. And you know what? Right here, that's even what I read. It said, I usually have 2 sets of wings and a hard shell covering. So we're going to write, they have hard shells. Now here's my last one. Beetles are. Think about what beetles are. Beetles are. And when you're done thinking, put your hand in your lap. Edgar has his hand in his lap. Beetles are what? What can we put there?
Beetles are insects.
I was hoping somebody was going to say that. Beetles are insects. You know how we know they're insects?
Because they have 6 legs.
Because they have 6 legs. Yes. Beetles are insects. Insects. Okay, guess what? Our brainstorming part is finished. Now we're going to use this information to write 3 sentences. This is what I used to give my first graders when I taught first grade. I know y'all are in kindergarten, but guess what?
This doctor is teaching me.
Guess what? You're almost first graders. So it's time for us to turn it up a notch. So now what I'm going to do is excuse me. We're not yelling out. Excuse me. We're not yelling out. So I need everybody to sit up on their bottom. And I need everybody to look at me. Or look at the board, please. Okay, so now I'm going to write 3 sentences. It's going to be real easy. My first sentence is going to say, beetles can roll balls of poop. Sentence number 1. Sentence number 2. Beetles have hard shells. Sentence number 3. Beetles are insects. Did you see how easy that was?
Yeah.
Now all I have to do is write it down on paper. What are my 3 rules for writing sentences? Every sentence must begin with a capital letter, capital cat. And in between the words, you got to have spaces. Yeah, spacey spider. And at the end of your sentence, you need to have a
question mark.
Punctuation puppy. Sometimes it's a question mark. Sometimes it's a period. Sometimes it's an exclamation mark. So let's go ahead and see what we're doing here. So beetles can, and when I write the word, I'm going to put a check mark. Roll balls of poop. Period. Now, time for a second sentence. Second sentence is going to start with what word? Anybody? Beetles. So I'm going to say beetles.
Oh, thank you.
Have.
What
hard shells.
Beetles are not sales. Baby yodels.
All right, and now it's time for our last sentence. What are we going to start our last sentence with?
Period.
Well, we ended our last sentence with a period. Now we need to start the last sentence with what?
Question mark. What is this?
The word beetle, right? Beetles with the capital letter. Beetles.
I thought you said that only people on purple could sit on the trampoline.
We're in the middle of a lesson right now. So I'm trying to ignore bad behavior so that I can teach the students that are showing that they can be good citizens and that they are doing the right thing, and they're the ones that are going to know how to do this station, okay? Thank you, sir. So we have Beetles Are. What's that last word? Insects. INSECTS. Period. And guess what? I'm done with my writing. So now you're going to read my writing with me. I'm going to read it first, and you read it after me. Beetles can roll balls of poop. Are you ready? Beetles can roll balls of poop. Here's the second sentence. Beetles have hard shells. Now you read it with me. Beetles have hard shells. Sentence 3. Beetles are insects. Read it with me. Beetles are insects. And there you have it, boys and girls. You just wrote 3 sentences. You are so awesome now, right? Are we high five? Do you think this is something that you could do?
Yeah.
I think so too. All right. So let's go ahead and get started. And I can't wait to see what you do. We'll see you later on. Bye-bye. We just finished talking about the beetle, and hopefully you just finished writing about the beetle. Now it's time for us to make our artwork about the beetle. Sit back and enjoy this short clip of me making some fantastic beetle artwork. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make my background. And since it's yellow in this card, the background's yellow, I'm going to make a yellow background as well. Here we go. So the kids are at home, and ever since we did our writing work earlier, I've been wondering what kind of beetle did we really write about today? Because I talked about the dung beetle, and so I went down the rabbit hole. I started Googling and Google image searching, and this is what I found. This right here is actually a dung beetle. This is the type of beetle that rolls balls of poop. Now, if you look at this one, it looks a little bit different than my little friend right here, who is red and green. So then I was like, okay, well then what kind of beetle did we actually write about? Here's another picture of a dung beetle. It's definitely not that one. That one looks black. This one looks red and green. All right, so this is the picture of a green red leaf beetle right here, right here. Okay, so I think we cracked the case. The beetle that we were talking about earlier was not a dung beetle. It was a green and red leaf beetle. Wow.